Moulin ROuge focuses on the cabaret life of Paris. The Moulin ROuge is in Montmartre. It shows Montmartre as a cabaret, red light district sort of place. More importantly for the movie, it is depicted as a hub for the Bohemian artist. Paris as a whole is not really discussed in the movie. However, there are scenes of Paris throughout the movie, mainly of the Eiffel Tower. The movie represents Montmartre as a big party. Everyone drinks more than necessary, and at night, everyone goes to the cabaret to watch the singing and the dancing. Although the main depiction leads toward a Bohemian artist party lifestyle, the movie gets back to the heart of Bohemian society. Create art, according to Toulouse-Lautrec, that upholds the Bohemian ideals of truth, beauty, and freedom. According to Lisa Tickner, Bohemian society was a huge part of Montmartre and Paris. The word Bohemian has held various meanings throughout society. However, the term, in accordance with the artist movement in Montmartre in particular, refers to an artist of music, writing, painting, etc., that pursues art and love. Bohemians embody modernity and are interpreters of the aesthetic values of society. Bohemian artists lived in Montmartre or the Latin Quarter of Paris, where they were free to do their work and sell it to vendors or dealers. Montmartre is the highest hill in Paris on the right bank of the Seine. In Anatomy of Paris, we have discussed Montmartre and its huge role in Parisian history. Sacré-Cœur stands at the top of the hill and is devoted to the cult of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Under the Parisian Commune, this is the hill in which the cannons were housed by the Commune and ended in the death of Versailles government generals. The slopes along the hill were a favorite residence for the Bohemian movement. Montmartre housed and provided material for Van Gogh, Pissarro, Utrillo, and many others. Along with the artist movements, Montmartre housed nightlife, mainly led by the nightclub, the Moulin ROuge. According to the website A View on Cities, the Moulin ROuge was opened in 1889 by Charles Zidler and Joseph Aller. The nickname Le Premier Palais des Femmes, the first palace of women, was given to the club by the owners. This club became a place for men to view women who, according to the movie, were as flexible as their morals. The club solidified the popularity of the dance known as the can-can as well. With these flexible morals, public outcry fought heavily against what was happening inside the Moulin ROuge. The artist Toulouse-Lautrec was a big patron of the Moulin ROuge and has created several paintings with the club as the subject. Later on, the Moulin ROuge cleaned up and lost its reputation as a brothel and became a music hall full of classy cabaret shows, attracting high-class clientele. The can-can remained a main part of the show, although some still argued the dance was a bit too naughty. People still visit the Moulin ROuge today for the nightly shows. Moulin ROuge is a film that depicts the production of a play at Paris's famous Moulin ROuge Theatre. While Moulin ROuge was a place of drinking, socializing, and prostitution as depicted in the movie, the love story between Satine and Christian never actually occurred. Nor did the production of Christian's show Spectacular Spectacular. For these reasons, Moulin ROuge should not be viewed as a historical account of events that actually transpired. However, the film serves as an example of life and culture in Paris at the turn of the century. Moulin ROuge is a movie about young individuals living in Paris at the turn of the 19th century and working at the Moulin ROuge. These individuals are inspired and captivated by the Bohemian ideals of truth and love. This is a very accurate description of Paris in the early 1900s, due to the fact that France experienced an extended period of peace in the nation. Peacetime allowed for individuals to focus on expression and art. These individuals became known as Bohemians. Bohemians have been described as social misfits and outcasts, or those who don't fit into the traditional social hierarchy. Due to this, Paris was a focal point of development of the Bohemian subculture. In regards to the historical accuracy that Moulin ROuge portrays of the famous Moulin ROuge attendee Henri Toulouse-Lautrec, the accuracy is to be taken lightly. Toulouse-Lautrec was a painter of posters for the actual Moulin ROuge. However, his role in the film as an actor and manager for the theater was extensively exaggerated. Additionally, the character's overuse of the drink absinthe is consistent with Parisians' use of the drink in the early 20th century. According to the New York Times, it was common for the French to drink 36 million liters of absinthe per year during this time period. Finally, the film did acknowledge the rampant red light district that Montmartre was, as evidenced by the main character Satine. In class, the hierarchy of prostitutes was discussed, and Satine fit right into the scheme. She tried to gain money and support for the Moulin ROuge to turn it into a theater, just as prostitutes slept with government officials to get money and power. As mentioned earlier, the Eiffel Tower is shown in a few scenes in the movie, but the rest of Paris as a whole is not shown. At this point in history, the Eiffel Tower had about 10 years left until it should have been torn down. It was built in 1889 and was only supposed to be standing until 1909. The movie took place in 1900. The Eiffel Tower is not in the movie for historical accuracy whatsoever. Parisians hated the Eiffel Tower upon its creation, calling it an iron ladder that destroyed the skyline of the city. The structure was placed in the movie for the viewer. It sets the scene in Paris. The tower is such an iconographic image of Paris that no one questions where the movie is taking place after seeing that structure. It is a huge significance that no other structure in Paris would have, not even the Arc de Triomphe. The extensive number of historical accuracies does not make this film historically accurate, however. More prevalent in the Moulin ROuge than historical accuracies were historical inaccuracies. The film did not recall any actual events and only paid homage to one of the important characters of the Moulin ROuge theater. Even the owner's name, Charles Zidler, was changed to Harold Zidler in the movie, and there is no source saying that Charles Zidler was involved in the performances whatsoever. Additionally, the film's music did not fit the music at this time period. A great example of this is Like a Virgin, a song recorded by Madonna in 1984, not by the cast of Spectacular Spectacular at the beginning of the 20th century. However, the most glaring inaccuracy present in Moulin ROuge is a depiction of the disease consumption, better known as tuberculosis. Satine lived a rather normal life for being diagnosed with such a devastating disease. She was able to interact with others and go about her daily life. Furthermore, Christian would have gotten the disease from being in such close proximity of Satine for an extended period of time, but the movie does not show this happening. Hollywood was desperate for not just a new type of movie, but a movie musical. The movie musical was a tired genre at this time, and everything was seemingly the same. In 1999, when Baz Luhrmann started production for this film, he knew that he had to make a statement. Luhrmann spoke to the Hollywood Interview and talked about how he knew that it was time that someone got this category going again. Moulin ROuge is so vibrant and so theatrically off the charts that it far exceeds what everyone was expecting a musical to be during this time. As far as inspiration goes, Luhrmann was in India with his wife, Catherine Martin, who also happens to be his production designer, and they decided to attend a Bollywood movie. At the time, Luhrmann was filming A Midsummer Night's Dream, but he was so moved by the costumes, music, and genre that he knew he needed to do a movie that was as cinematic as the Bollywood movie. He wanted to know if he could pull off a musical like this, and if a musical like this could be pulled off as being comic tragic. It is notable to say that Moulin ROuge has distinct notes in the style of Bollywood in the dance portions of the film and the dress. Christian's play, Spectacular Spectacular, also has hints towards Indian culture in the Bollywood movie, almost like a Bollywood play in an American film. While in the Moulin ROuge, the camera is always moving at a fast pace. This use of a constantly moving shot gives the viewer the feeling of being a part of the action. The camera is not stable in these shots. It is shaky and fast-moving. This point of view creates unique view for the audience because the viewers are literally in the party itself, unlike if it was a still camera watching from afar, where the viewer would feel separated, viewing the joy and the dancing from afar. The film also uses a lot of close-up shots. These close-ups are used often in this film to portray the deep emotions felt by the characters. This film is full of deep-rooted dramatic emotions such as love, excitement, jealousy, anger, and desperation. In scenes between Satine and Christian, these shots are used a lot. There are over-the-shoulder shots between the characters and close shots of their faces when the other scene partner is singing, so the audience can see the emotional reaction between the lovers. The use of music in this film is very significant. Any strong emotions in the film are portrayed through song. Every time Satine and Christian are together, from the first time Satine professes her love for Christian when she is under the impression that he is the Duke, to the scene in his apartment where she says they have to end their affair, the two always express their emotions in song. In many other scenes, like when the company is trying to sell Spectacular Spectacular to the Duke, and when the dancers are trying to show Christian how jealousy could drive him mad, songs are used to express many emotions other than love. But love is the driving force of this film. However, while the music is extremely important, the music does not match other music from the 1900s. Lighting in Moulin ROuge is also used in the film to help portray the emotions the audience should feel. When there are scenes between the Duke and Satine, the light is blue, making the scenes cold and undesirable. But when Christian and Satine are together, the lighting in the room instantly turns warm and inviting. The viewers feel at ease in the scenes that the feelings between the two of them are natural and not forced in any way, like they are with the Duke, who is trying to force Satine into loving him. Overall, the Moulin ROuge requires a good bit of background knowledge of Paris during this era to understand all of the historical value in this film. Anyone watching this movie without any pre-knowledge would most likely get lost in the fast-moving camera shots and Bollywood movie style. Having the knowledge really brings more out in the movie, however, it can still be lost in the songs and pictures. If anyone is interested in going, the Moulin ROuge is open today in Montmartre, and you are able to go and see live cabaret shows to this day. The can-can is still one of the most popular aspects of these shows.